In this section, we're going to take a look at applying some arithmetic operations to rational functions. Specifically, we're going to look at multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting them. But before we do that, we want to take a look at how we can just reduce a given rational expression. We want to start off by factoring both the numerator and denominator as much as possible. In example 1, 8x is already factored as far as possible, but in the denominator we can factor out a 2x, which will leave us with 2x times the quantity 3x minus 1. Once we've completed factoring, then we want to look for any factors that will reduce with one another. For instance, we have an x in both the numerator and denominator, so those will cancel out. And then 2 will divide evenly into both 8 and 2, leaving us with 4 and 1. So our reduced answer here would be 4 over the quantity 3x minus 1. In example 2, we want to start off with the same approach. We want to factor the numerator and denominator completely. In this case, the numerator can be factored as y minus 5 times y plus 5 using difference of squares. In the denominator, the first thing we could notice is that we can factor out a common factor of 6, which will leave us with 6 times the quantity y squared minus 2y minus 15, which would then factor as 6 times the quantity y minus 5 times the quantity y plus 3. In this case, we have y minus 5 as a factor in both the numerator and denominator, so those will cancel, leaving us with y plus 5 all over 6 times the quantity y plus 3. In example 3, we can factor the numerator as x plus 9 times x minus 6. In the denominator, it may not initially look like there's anything to factor. However, a good rule or trick to keep in mind is we always want that variable term to be positive. That's just a common way of expressing these statements, these factors. So we'll start off by factoring out a negative, which would change us to the opposite of negative 6 plus x. Or then we could just rearrange that addition to write this as the opposite of x minus 6. That means x minus 6 over x minus 6 will cancel, leaving us with x plus 9 over negative 1, since we still have that negative sign down there. And then that negative 1 can just be brought out as a factor in front, and we could write this as the opposite of the quantity x plus 9.